just a petticoat, therefore courage, good Aliena. I pray you bear with me. I cannot go no further.
For my part, I had rather bear with you than bear you. Yet I should bear no cross if I did bear you, for I think you have no money in your purse.
Well, this is the forest of Arden.
Aye, now I am in Arden. The more fool I. When I was at home, I was in a better place. But travelers must be content.
Aye, be so, good Touchstone. Look you, who comes here? A young man and an old in solemn talk.
That is the way to make us scorn you still.
Oh, Corin, that thou knew'st how I do love her.
I partly guess, for I've loved you now.
No, Corin, being old, thou canst not guess, though in thy youth thou wast as true a lover as ever sighed upon a midnight pillow. But if thy love were ever like to mine, how many actions most ridiculous hast thou been drawn to by thy fantasy?
Unto 1,000 that I have forgotten.
Oh, thou didst then never love so heartily. If thou rememberest not the slightest folly that ever love did make thee run into, thou hast not loved. Or, if thou hast not sat, as I do now, wearying thy hearer in thy mistress's praise, thou hast not loved. Or, if thou hast not broken company abruptly as my passion now makes me, thou hast not loved. Oh, Phoebe! Phoebe! Phoebe!
Poor shepherd, searching of thy wound, I have by hard adventure found mine own.
And I mine.
Jove! Jove! This shepherd's passion is much upon my fashion.
And mine. But it grows something stale with me.
I pray you, one of you ask yonder man if he for gold will give us any food. I faint almost to death.
Hello, you clown!
Peace, fool! He's not thy kinsman.
Who calls?
Your betters, sir.
Peace, I say! Good even to you, friend.
And to you, gentle sir, and to you all.
I prithee, shepherd, if that love or gold can in this desert place buy entertainment, bring us to where we may rest ourselves and feed. Here's a young maid, would travel much, oppressed and faints for succor.
Yes, sir. I pity her, and wish for her sake more than for mine own that my fortunes were more able to relieve her. But I am a shepherd to another man, and do not share the fleeces that I graze. For my master is of a churlish disposition and little recks any way to heaven by doing deeds of hospitality! Besides, his coats, flocks, and bounds of feed are now on sale, and at a sheepcote now. By reason of his absence, there is nothing that you will feed on. But what is, come see, and in my voice, most welcome shall you be.
What is he that shall buy his flock and pasture?
That young swain that you saw here but a while, that little cares for buying anything.
Oh, I pray thee, if it stand with honesty, buy thou the cottage, pasture, and the flock, and thou shalt have to pay for it of us. And we will mend thy wages. I like this place, and willingly could waste my time.
Assuredly, the thing is to be sold. Go with me, if you like upon report, the soil, the profit, and this kind of life. I will your very faithful Vita be. And buy it with your gold right suddenly.
prithee, more.
It will make you melancholy, Monsieur Jacquet.
I thank it. I can suck melancholy out of a song as a weasel sucks eggs. More, I prithee, more.
My voice is ragged. I know I cannot please you.
I do not desire you to please me. Ooh. I do desire you to sing. Come, another stanzo. Call you them stanzos?
What you will, Monsieur
Nay,
Jacquet.
I care not for their names. They owe me nothing. Will you sing?
More at your request than to please myself.
Well, then, if ever I thank any man, I'll thank you. Come, sing. And you that will not, hold your tongues.
Well, I'll finish the song. The Duke will drink out of the stream. He hath been all this day to look you.
And I have been all this day to avoid him. He is too disputable for my company. Come, warble, come.
Who doth ambition shun, and loves to lie in the sun, seeking what he needs, and pleased with what he gets. Come hither, come hither, oh come hither. Here shall he see no enemy, but winter and rough weather.
I'll give you a verse. I'll give you a verse to this note that I made yesterday, despite of my invention.
And I'll sing it.
Thus it goes. If it do come to pass that any man turn ass, leaving his wealth and ease, a stubborn will to please, Duke Dame, oh Duke Dame, here shall he see gross fools as he, and if he will come to me, Duke Dame, oh Duke Dame.
What's that, Duke Dame?
'Tis a Greek invocation to call fools into a circle.
Oh.
I'll go sleep if I can. If I cannot, I'll rail against all the firstborn of Egypt.
And I'll seek the Duke, whose banquet is prepared.
Dear master, I can go no further. Oh, I die for food.
How now, Adam? No greater heart in thee? Live a little. If this uncouth forest yield anything savage, I will either be food for it, or bring it for food to thee. And if I bring thee not something to eat, I will give thee leave to die. Huh? But if thou diest before I come, thou art a mocker of my labor. Come, I will bear thee to some shelter, and thou shalt not die for lack of a dinner. Cheerly, good Adam!
Into a beast, for I can find her nowhere here like a man.
My lord, he is but even now gone hence. Here was he merry hearing of a song.
Go seek him. Tell him I would like to speak with him.
He saves my labor by his own approach.
How now, monsieur? What a life is this that your poor friends must woo your company?
A fool! A fool. I met a fool in the forest. A motley fool. A miserable world. As I do live by food, I met a fool who laid him down and basked him in the sun and railed on Lady Fortune in good terms. Good set terms, and yet a motley fool. Good morrow, fool, quoth I. No, sir, quoth he, call me not fool till heaven hath sent me fortune. And then he drew a dial from his poke, and looking on it with lackluster eyes, said very wisely, it is 10 o'clock. Thus we may see how the world wags. 'Tis but an hour ago since it was 9, and after 1 hour more 'twill be 11. And so from hour to hour we ripe and ripe. And then, from hour to hour, we rot and rot, and thereby hangs a tale.
What fool is this?
A worthy fool! One that hath been a courtier, and says, if ladies be but young and fair, they have the gift to know it. And in his brain, which is as dry as her made her biscuit after a voyage, he hath strange places crammed with observation, the which he vents in mangled forms. Oh! And I were a fool!
Forbear!
I have eaten yet.
Art thou thus bolded in man by thy distress, or else a rude despiser of good manners and civility, thou seemst so empty?
He dies that touches any of this fruit, till I and my affairs are entered.
What should you have? Your gentleness shall force, more than your force, move us to gentleness.
I almost died for food, and let me have it!
Sit down and feed, and welcome to our table.
Oh, speak you so gently? Pardon me, I pray you. I thought that all things had been savage here, and therefore put I on the countenance of stern command. But whatever you are, that in this desert inaccessible, under the shade of melancholy boughs, lose and neglect the creeping hours of time. If ever you have looked on better days, and known what 'tis to pity and be pitied, let gentleness my strong enforcement be, in the which hope I blush and hide my sword.
True is it that we have seen better days, and therefore sit you down in gentleness, and take upon command what help we have, that to your wanting may be ministered.
Oh, then but forbear your food a little whiles like a doe I go to find my fawn and give it food. There is an old poor man who after me hath many a weary step, limped in pure love, till he be first sufficed, oppressed with two weak evils, age and hunger. I will not touch a bit.
Go find him out, and we will nothing waste till you return.
I thank ye, and be blessed for your good comfort.
Thou seest we're not all alone, unhappy. This wide, universal theater presents more woeful pageants than the scene wherein we play it.
All the world's a stage. And all the men and women merely players. They have their exits and their entrances, and one man in his time plays many parts, his acts being 7 ages. At first the infant, mewling and puking in the nurse's arms. And then the schoolboy with his satchel and shining morning face, creeping like snail unwillingly to school. And then the lover, sighing like furnace with a woeful ballad made to his mistress' eyebrow. Then a soldier, full of strange oaths and bearded like the pard, jealous in honor, sudden and quick in quarrel, seeking the bubble reputation even in the cannon's mouth. And then the justice, in fair round belly, and good capon mind, with eyes severe, and beard a formal cut, full of wise saws and modern instances. So he plays his part. The 6th age shifts into the lean and slippered pantaloon, with spectacles on nose and pouch on side. His youthful hose, well saved, a world too wide for his shrunk shank, and his big manly voice turning again toward childish treble, pipes, and whistles in his sound. Last scene of all, that ends this strange, eventful history. His second childishness, mere oblivion. Sans teeth, sans eyes, sans taste, sans everything.
Welcome. Set down your venerable burthen and let him feed.
I thank you most for him.
I scarce can speak to thank you for myself.
Welcome. Fall to. I will not trouble you as yet to question you about your fortunes. Give us some music and good coffee. Sit.
Blow, blow, thou winter wind, thou art not so unkind as man's ingratitude. Thy truth is not so good because thou art not seen.
life is most jolly. Hey ho, the holly, this life is most jolly. If that you were good Sir Roland's son, and as mine eye doth as Ephige's most truly lived and living in your face, we truly welcome him. I am the duke that loved your father, the residue of your fortune. Go to my cave and tell me, good old man, thou art right welcome as thy master is. Support him by the arm. Give me your hand. Let me all your fortunes understand.
Springtime, the only pretty ring time, and birds to sing a ding-a-ding, ding. Sweet lovers of the spring.
The acres of the rye, with a hay and a hoe and a hay not know, these pretty country folks alive.
In the springtime, the only pretty ring time, and birds to sing a ding-a-ding, ding. Lovers of the spring, therefore take the present time with a hay and a hoe and a hay not a know, and love crown it with the prime. In the springtime, the only pretty ring time, with birds to sing a ding-a-ding, ding, ding. Sweet lovers of the spring, the only pretty ring time, with birds to sing a ding-a-ding. Sweet lovers of the spring. Hang there my verse, in witness of my love. Oh, Rosalind, these trees shall be my books, and in their barks my thoughts I'll character. Run, run, Orlando, and carve in every tree the fair, the chaste, and unexpressive she.
Oh! Hey. Oh!
How like you the shepherd's life, Master Touchstone?
Truly, shepherd, in respect of itself, it is a good life. But in respect that it is a shepherd's life, it is not. In respect that it is solitary, I like it very well. But in respect that it is not in the court, it is tedious. Hast any philosophy in thee, shepherd?
No more than that I know. The more one sickens, the worse at ease he is. For he who is about money, means, and content is without three good friends. The property of rain is to wet and fire to burn, that good pasture makes fat sheep, and that the cause of the night is the lack of the sun.
Such a one is a natural philosopher. Wast ever in court, shepherd?
No, truly.
Then thou art damned!
You have too courtly a wit for me. I'll rest.
Will thou rest, damned? God help thee, shallow man!
Sir, I am a true laborer. I earn that I eat, get that I wear, owe no man's hate, envy no man's good, content with my harm, and the greatest of my pride is to see my ewes graze and my lambs suck. Here comes Master Ganymede, my new mistress's brother.
From the east to western Ind, no jewel is like Rosalind. All the pictures fairest lined are but black to Rosalind. Let no fair be kept in mind, but the fair of Rosalind.
Nay, I'll rhyme you so 8 years together. Dinners and suppers and sleeping hours accepted. If a heart do lack a hind, let him seek out Rosa-Lind. If the cat will after kind, so be sure will Rosa-Lind. Winter garments must be lined, so must slender Rosalind. He that sweetest rose will find, must find love's prick at Rosalind. This is a very false gallop of verses. Why do you infect yourself with that?
Peace, you dull fool! I found them on a tree.
Truly, the tree yields bad fruit.
Peace! Here comes my sister reading. Stand aside.
Helen's cheek, but not her heart. Cleopatra's majesty. Atalanta's better heart. Sad Lucretia's modesty. Thus Rosalind of many parts by heavenly synod was devised. Of many faces, eyes and hearts to have the touch's dearest prize. Heaven would that she these gifts should have, and I to live and die her slave.
Oh, most gentle pulpiter! What tedious homily of love! If you wearied your parishioners withal and never cried, have patience, good people.
How now? Back, friends. Shepherd, go off a while. Go with him, sirrah.
Come, shepherd, let us make an honorable retreat. Though not with bag and baggage, yet with skidip and skiddibage.
Didst thou hear these verses?
Oh, yes, I heard them all, and more too, for some of them had in them more feet than the verses would bear.
That's no matter, the feet might bear the verses.
Aye, but the feet were lame, and could not bear themselves without the verse, and therefore stood lamely within the verse.
But did you hear without wondering how thy name should be hanged and carved upon these trees?
I was 7 of the 9 days out of the wonder before you came. For look here, what I found on a palm tree. I was never so berhymed since Pythagoras' time that I was an Irish rat, which I can hardly remember.
Trow you who hath done this?
Is it a man?
And a chain that you once wore about his neck? Change you color?
I prithee who?
Is it possible?
Nay, but who is it?
Oh Lord, it is a hard matter for friends to meet. But mountains may be by earthquakes removed, and so encounter.
Nay, I prithee now with most petitionary vehemence, tell me who it is.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful, and most wonderful, wonderful, and then again wonderful. And after that, out of all the hooping,
Good my complexion! Dost thou think that I am comparison like a man, that I have a doublet and hose in my disposition? 1 inch of delay more is a south sea of discovery. I prithee, take the cork out of thy mouth, that I may drink thy tidings.
so you may put a man in your belly.
Is he of God's making? What manner of a man? Is his head worth a hat, or his chin worth a beard?
Nay, he hath but little beard.
Why, God will send more, if the man will be thankful. Let me stay the growth of his beard, if thou delay me not the knowledge of his chin.
It is young Orlando that tripped up the wrestler's heels and your heart both at an instant.
Nay, but the devil take mocking, speak sad brow and true maid.
In faith, 'cause 'tis he.
Orlando?
Orlando!
What shall I do with my doublet and hose? What did he when thou sawest him? What said he? How looked he? Wherein went he? What makes him here? Did he ask for me? Where remains he? How parted he with thee? And when shalt thou see him again? Answer me in one word.
You must borrow me Gargantua's mouth first. 'Tis a word too great for any mouth of this age's size. To say aye and no to these particulars is more than to answer in a catechism.
But doth he know I am in this forest and in man's apparel? Look he as freshly as he did the day he wrestled.
It is easier to count atomies than to resolve the propositions of a lover. But take a taste of my finding him and relish it with good observance. I found him under a tree, like a dropped acorn.
It may well be called Jove's tree when it drops forth such fruit.
The audience, good madam.
Proceed.
There lay he, stretched along like a wounded knight.
Although it be pity to see such a sight, it well becomes the ground.
Prithee, cry hollow to thy tongue, it curvets unseasonably. He was furnished like a hunter.
Oh, ominous! He comes to kill my heart!
I would sing my song without a burden, thou bringst me out of tune.
Do you not know I'm a woman? When I think I must speak.
Ah,
Sweet, say on.
You bring me out. Soft. Comes he not here?
Oh, 'tis he! Sling by! Note him!
I pray, mar no more trees with writing love songs in their barks.
I pray you, mar no more of my verses with reading them ill-favoredly.
Rosalind, is your love's name?
Yes, just.
I do not like her name.
There was no thought of pleasing you when she was christened.
What stature is she of?
Just as high as my heart.
You are full of pretty answers. I think 'twas made of Atalanta's heels. Will you sit down with me? And we two will rail against the world, our mistress, and all our misery.
I will chide no breather in this world but myself, against whom I know most faults.
Worst fault you have is to be in love.
'Tis a fault I would not change for your best virtue. I am weary of you.
By my troth, I was seeking for a fool when I found you.
Oh.
I'll tarry no longer with you. Farewell, good Signor Love.
Oh! I am glad of your departure. Farewell, Monsieur Melancholy.
I shall speak to him like a saucy lackey, and under that habit play the knave with him. Do you hear?
Oh,
Forester,
very well. What would you?
I pray you, what is o'clock?
You should ask me what time of day. There is no clock in the forest.
Then there is no true lover in the forest. Else, sighing every minute and groaning every hour would detect the lazy foot of time as well as a clock.
And why not the swift foot of time? Had not that been as proper?
By no means, sir. Time travels in diverse paces with diverse persons.
Where dwell you, pretty youth?
With this shepherdess, my sister, here in the skirts of the forest, like fringe upon a petticoat.
Are you native of this place?
As the coney that you see dwell where she is kindled.
Your accent is something finer than you could purchase in so removed a dwelling.
I have been told so of many, but indeed an old religious uncle of mine taught me to speak, who was in his youth an inland man, one that knew courtship too well, for there he fell in love. I've heard him read many lectures against it, and I thank God I am not a woman to be touched with so many giddy offenses, as he had generally taxed their whole sex with all.
Can you remember any of the principal evils that he laid to the charge of women?
There were none principal.
I pray thee recount some of them.
No, I will not cast away my physic, but on those that are sick. There's a man haunts the forest that abuses our young plants with carving Rosalind on their barks, all forsooth deifying the name of Rosalind. If I could meet that fancy monger, I would give him some good counsel, for he seems to have the quotidian of love upon him.
I am he that is so love-shaked. I pray you, tell me your remedy.
There's none of my uncle's marks upon you. He taught me how to know a man in love, in which cage of rushes I'm sure you are not prisoner.
What were his marks?
A lean cheek, which you have not. A blue eye and sunken, which you have not. An unquestionable spirit, which you have not. A beard neglected, which you have not, but I pardon you for that, for your simply having in beard is a younger brother's revenue. Then your hose should be ungartered, your bonnet unbandaged, your sleeve unbuttoned, your shoe untied, and everything about you demonstrating a careless desolation. You are no such man. You are rather point device in your accoutrements.
Fair
As
youth!
loving yourself than seeming the lover of any other.
Fair youth, I would I could make you believe I love.
Me believe it. You may as soon make her that you love believe it. But in good sooth are you he that hangs the verses on the trees wherein Rosalind is so admired?
I am that he, that unfortunate he.
But are you so much in love as your rhymes speak?
Neither rhyme nor reason can express how much.
Love is merely a madness, and I tell you, deserves as well a dark house and a whip as madmen do. Yet I profess curing it by counsel.
Did you ever cure any so?
Yes, one, and in this manner. he was to imagine me his love, his mistress, and I set him every day to woo me, at which time would I, being but a moonish youth, now like him, now loathe him, then entertain him, then forswear him, now weep for him, then spit at him, that I drave my suitor from his mad humor of love to a living humor of madness, which was to forswear the full stream of the world and to live in a nook, merely monastic. And thus I cured him. And this way will I take upon me to wash your liver as clean as a sound sheep's heart, that there shall not be one spot of love in it.
I would not be cured, youth.
I would cure you if you would but call me Rosalind and come every day to my cot and woo me.
Now, by the faith of my love, I will. Tell me where it is.
Go with me to it and I'll show it you. And by the way, you shall tell me where in the forest you live.
Oh.
Will you go?
With all my heart, good youth.
Nay, you must call me Rosalind. Come, sister, will you go?
Come apace, good Audrey. I'll catch up your ghost.
Okay.
Audrey, doth my simple feature content you?
Your features, what warrant us for features?
I am here with thee and thy goats, that most capricious poet, honest Ovid, was among the Goths. Understanding it strikes a man more dead than a great reckoning in a little room. Truly, I would the gods had made thee poetical.
I do not know what poetical is. Is it honest in word and deed? Is it a true thing?
No, truly. For the truest poetry is the most fading, and lovers are given to poetry. And what they swear in poetry, it may be said, as lovers, they do feign.
Do you wish then that the gods had made me poetical?
I do truly. For thou swearest to me that thou art honest. Now, if thou wert a poet, I might have some hope that thou didst feign.
No, would you not have me honest?
No, truly, unless thou wert hard favored. For honest